everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Empathic Action. I want to start with a quote by Meister Eckhart, who was a theologian, a German theologian during the Roman Empire. He said, "If the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, that would suffice." So today we're going to be talking about those two important words, thank you, specifically to a very special group of people. And the idea for today's episode came from a friend of mine who lives in NDG and her 2 children who engaged in some empathic action in their neighborhood. Leela and Tristan spent a few hours drawing some pictures with a little note that says, "If you need some help to buy groceries, let us know." And they wandered around their neighborhood and knocked on doors and dropped the notes off in mailboxes to neighbors they knew were on the older side of their golden years, and that was their way of showing some solidarity in their neighborhood. And that got me to thinking about all the ways that we can reach out to people to offer help, but also to offer thanks. So yesterday, I was catching up with some local news, reading the Gazette and then the Globe and Mail kind of wall-to-wall COVID stories. And I discovered that in Quebec, our premier has called for all retired healthcare workers to sort of volunteer to support the province as they're delivering healthcare services to people who are catching COVID-19 or otherwise, in need of some healthcare. And I want you to take a guess in terms of how many people, as of Saturday, March 21st, had signed up to volunteer. I want you to just take a second to think about it. 100? 500? 5,000? 17,000! 17,000 former and retired healthcare providers have registered or signed up to volunteer to help out in this crisis. And I was just so moved by that. So moved by that. And it made me think back to sort of like the original hero or heroine of the healthcare industry, sort of like the nurse par excellence, Florence Nightingale, who entered the nursing profession before it really became a profession against her family's wishes, because she was well educated and her family didn't think that was a good use of her education. And she really made a major dent in healthcare provision during the Crimean War. She was in Turkey, and to talk about empathic action, she worked to reduce the number of soldiers who were dying from illnesses such as typhus caused by poor standards of cleanliness. So think about this for a second. In her 1860 book, Notes on Nursing, she wrote, and think about how prescient her ideas were given what we're going through now. She says, "True nursing ignores infections except to prevent it." And another quote, "Every nurse ought to be careful to wash her hands frequently during the day and her face as well." So she knew what she was talking about, and she certainly helped start a movement of professionalizing nursing and also ensuring hygiene standards were put into place. And we're all practicing those hygiene standards now. So thank you, Florence Nightingale. But thank you to all of the retired healthcare people that are coming back to serve in the front lines. And thank you to all of the frontline healthcare providers that are currently helping us out in this crisis. So a special shout out to nurses and doctors, first responders, pharmacists, administrators, custodial staffs, cooking staff, everybody who's serving in hospitals and clinics, CLSCs, nursing homes, the whole gamut. Thank you so much. And what I'd like to call on anybody who's watching this video is to take an example out of my friend's playbook and have your children engaged in some arts and crafts to write a great big thank you to our healthcare providers. And I'm going to, at the end of this video, have a scrolling list, which you can pause, with addresses of all the hospitals in the Montreal region where you can send through the mail a thank you note. And I think this is a great opportunity to teach your kids about the importance of thank you, but also the importance of the healthcare system and everybody who's working in it. And even if you don't have kids, there's an opportunity for you to just craft a little thank you card and mail it out as well. So it would be wonderful if there could be a flood of thank you notes that show up in the mailroom at these hospitals in a short little while. So hope you'll engage in a little empathic action today. Feel free to comment on what you did or where you sent it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.